So is it now better to have a low credit score than it is to have a high credit score? Is it more expensive to have high credit than low credit? That's what some of the headlines are making you think, but it is all just clickbait. I'm gonna clear up the air right here so you know exactly what's changed. There was a big change on May 1st to what's called LPAs, loan level price adjustments, and their fees, but I'm gonna make sure that you have the right information right now because there is so much misinformation in the marketplace. Hey, I'm Dan Beer Home Team here, eXp Realty, and you may have read headlines suggesting that it's now better to have a low FICO score than a high FICO, right? That's credit. And there's even people talking about, hey, I should go and ruin my credit so that I get a better interest rate. All this is absolute nonsense, it's garbage, and it's all rooted in just what the media is taking advantage of people not really understanding what's happening so that they can have headlines that get views, that get clicks, etc. Here's what is going on so that you understand it, so you have the truth. There's always been something called LLPAs, loan level price adjustment. So in a Fannie Mae, right, just government-backed loan, there's always been fees, and those fees get matched up to a grid. Along the top of the grid is down payment amount. So from no down payment all the way to 100% down. And there's always been FICO scores along the vertical axis from really great credit to very poor credit. And within all of that, depending on what your credit is and what down payment you're putting down, there's always been a fee structure for these Fannie Mae backed loans. Now, what has happened is that the penalty for poor credit is now a little bit less severe, a little less harsh than it used to be. The penalty, or lack of penalty, I should say, for having great credit, which there was always still a fee, that fee is now a little bit more. But the fee of having poor credit is still much more than the fee of having good credit. So all that's happened, okay, all that's really gone on, and with all the noise in the industry and in the news and the media and how it's being weaponized for political reasons, all of what's happened is that the gap of what someone with poor credit will pay, which they're going to pay more, and they're still paying more, to what someone with good credit will pay, which they're going to pay less, we're paying less, will continue to pay less, that gap has simply shrunk. So it's not as big of a discrepancy, but make no mistake about it, there is no world right now in which someone with bad credit is getting better terms than someone with good credit, and that's what the media is almost making you believe, especially the media that tries to, you know, let's face it, most of our news sources today, they're not even real news. What they really are is now just tabloids. And so they're using this, and they're using the fact that this is, while very simple, still takes a minute to explain and to understand. That's why I'm going through the time with you here. And they know that people will misunderstand it, and so they're making it almost seem like, hey, if you have a 600 credit score, that's so much better than having an 800 credit score, and in fact, you'll have a cheaper mortgage. Let me make it very clear that is false, that is not correct, that is not true. What is true is that the gap between what those fees are is now been decreased. Now, you can be upset and angry about that, that's perfectly fine, but now you're upset and angry about something that's actually happening. So to be clear, the penalty for poor credit is now a little bit less than it used to be. And the benefit of good credit is also a little bit less than it used to be. And so that space has simply compressed, okay? That's what's happened. If you have more questions around this, let me know. If you want to look it up for yourself, it's called LLPAs, loan level price adjustments. And the grand conclusion is ignore the headlines, ignore the news, ignore all the tabloids out there. Good credit is still good, bad credit is still bad.